Sawgrass SG1000. Looks like this right here. I've got one. Got it last spring. Got the auxiliary paper feed attachment with it so I can do large format paper. So what do I think of it? Got it last spring. Now it's the end of December. We'll talk about it coming up. I'm Roger, welcome to the loft above the shop, and this is going to be just a little quick bit of a review about my experience with the Sawgrass SG1000 printer. I got it last spring, got the auxiliary paper feed on it so I can do 11 by 17 and 13 by 19 paper. And that is all I use it for. And there is a reason for that. Right there. There's a set of ink refills because I just got a notification that I needed to refill tanks. My yellow was down to 3% and the other ones were getting pretty low. And I get the 70 milliliter refills, not the little half that or whatever it is. So right here, for 4 ink cartridges, is $538. 70 milliliters each. So this is why I don't use it for the 8.5 by 11 and 8.5 by 14. I use my Epson 2720 because here is a box of sublimation ink, all 4 colors, in 100 milliliter bottles for $38. Do I notice any difference in sublimation quality? No, I do not. Is there a difference in print speed? Yes, there is. The Sawgrass is much, much faster. However, I'm not usually in that big of a hurry. I can set up a number of things to print and send them all to my Epson printer down here and just let it kind of chug along. Unfortunately, an Epson 2720 doesn't do anything bigger than an 8.5 by 14, and I had a need to do 11 by 17 and 13 by 19. And the Sawgrass printer, it does a great job with it. So have I had any problems with the Sawgrass? No, not at all, other than I run out of ink, but that's because I use it. One nice advantage is, since I do only use it for 11 by 17 and 13 by 19, it doesn't get as much use as the 2720 here, which gets used several times a week. One thing that's nice about the Sawgrass is it self-maintains itself. I don't have to worry about getting lines plugged up or nozzles plugged up. It maintains itself as long as you keep it on, and I do keep it on, and it stays in its little sleep mode until I need to use it. So how do I print to it? I print to it direct connected with a USB cable. I do have it connected. I can do it from Wi-Fi. I just choose not to because all you need is an interruption in your Wi-Fi signal and whatever it's printing is ruined. That's why I do not use Wi-Fi for important graphics like that. Same thing with the Epson down here. And I also used to have a 2800, but I've since sold that because I don't need a whole ton of printers sitting around here. So any quirks with that printer, the Sawgrass SG1000? No, not really. The print manager takes a little bit of a learning curve to get used to, and I'm used to going to print something and sending it right to the printer. Don't do that with the Sawgrass. You'll end up with a mess. Not that you'll make a mess physically, you'll ruin your project. You definitely need to go through the print manager. So I just have to remember when I click on print and I'm going to go to the Sawgrass, I do have to go to the print manager, and I do have to make sure I choose the proper tray because I do have 8.5 by 10 sublimation paper loaded in the main tray on that. If I'm doing something where we really need to get it out in a hurry, and I did something recently here before Christmas with having to do a bunch of sublimation tumblers in a hurry, and I have really short notice. So I ran them all on the Sawgrass because it prints quicker. But getting back to remembering which paper tray or paper feed you're using, if I'm doing 11 by 17, I need to make sure I'm on the bypass tray. I also need to make sure I have 11 by 17 paper loaded in there and not 13 by 19. Conversely, if I'm doing a 13 by 19, I got to make sure it doesn't have 11 by 17 in it. Yes, I've made that mistake a couple of times because I just kind of look across the room and, oh yeah, it's got paper. And then I don't really think, and then I end up with a spoiled print. So if you happen to have watched my setup video on the SG1000, you'll know that it was not given to me because Sawgrass doesn't give printers away. And it was purchased from Heat Press Nation, and they don't give stuff away either. So none of that was sponsored or given to me or anything. We purchased it here for the business. So where does the ink come from? Well, there's a lot of different places you can get it. This particular batch here I purchased from Coastal Business Supplies. They're not a sponsor. They certainly didn't give me this, although I certainly would have accepted it if they would have offered. The reason I didn't get it from Heat Press Nation was because when I went to order it, there was something wonky with their shopping cart and it wouldn't let me check out, so flipped over to Coastal Business Supplies. I've purchased from them before and right on through. And there's other places you can get it. And it must be a fair trade item because wherever you look, it's the same price. I haven't seen it discounted anywhere. I have seen it a little bit higher in places, but I've never seen it discounted. So there's just a quick little update on the Sawgrass SG1000. I thought after this many months of use, and this is my second set of ink cartridges beyond the set that came with the printer. So, and the set I bought with the printer were not the little starter cartridges either, they were the big ones. So it has had quite a bit of use. And it performs flawlessly. No paper jams, no misfeeds, no messed up prints, other than operator error. But otherwise, it does what it's supposed to do, and it does it very well. My just biggest complaint is the price of the ink. I think it's just way overpriced for what it is. Like I said, $538. $38. There's actually more ink here. So I wish I could get this to go in this, but it doesn't work that way because this is proprietary. And I think that's where Sawgrass makes their money, just like a lot of inkjet printer companies charge these exorbitant amounts for ink and give you the printer as kind of a bargain, although that printer was not cheap either. So, well, okay, enough whining, I guess. I don't want to get this to be too long, just want to give you a little bit of update on how that printer is performed. So if you got anything out of this, appreciate getting a thumbs up, always helps the channel. There'll be a link in the description or at the end of this video about the setup I did when I got that SG1000 printer. Thanks for watching. Roger in the loft above the shop. See you in the next one.